Trudeau and the Liberals continue to double down on their carbon tax lies because they know if it is proven to be a scam that was hurting Canadians, they will lose the little bit of support that they have left. And with Jagmeet recently doing a complete 180 on it, admitting it's hurting Canadians, it's damaging our economy, people are paying more because of the carbon tax, the pressure is on for the Liberals. And obviously we've seen recent drops in gas prices and the narrative is being twisted around that. We are going to get into the reasons today of why that's actually happening, so let's get into it.
Traveling by car is a little more affordable at the moment. Drivers experiencing some ease at the pumps, with gas and diesel prices dropping across the country. Atlantic Canada is seeing a big difference, and that's where we find CTV's Paul Hollingsworth. Paul, why the drop and how are people responding?
Heather, everyone enjoys some positive financial news, especially when it comes to fuel prices. But the question is, going forward, how long will this positive vibe at the pumps continue? A Friday morning dip in gas prices.
I wish it was lower, because this is going to take premium.
Gas in Nova Scotia and PEI is down 4 cents per litre. New Brunswickers woke up to a drop of nearly 7 cents.
Ooh, I would say it's great,
Analyst Dan McTeague says across Canada, gas is down almost 20 cents compared to this time last year, with more savings just around the corner.
But we're heading.
So that's big for a multitude of reasons. One, that's going to be better for our inflation numbers when that's able to be factored into their calculations. But as well, like you guys know, I'm in London, Ontario. I saw gas as low as $1.32, which I can't believe that, $1.32, $1.45 we're considering low. They were showing $1.51 as low there because they're still crazy high prices. And we will get into what's actually making up a lot of the prices. And yeah, carbon tax is a big factor, but there's a bunch of other things too.
Heading on September 15th to winter blends of gasoline, and that means that a net savings of 5 cents a litre is on its way.
Diesel in Canada has dropped roughly 12 cents in 12 months, but it should increase soon.
We could start to see that march very much in a higher direction because we're heading to colder weather. Heating oil is diesel.
Oil prices have also taken a major tumble.
$65 a barrel for West Texas Intermediate. This time last year it was $88 a barrel.
According to McTeague, that's one of several reasons for this recent trend in more affordable fuel. The Canadian dollar is a little bit stronger, and the North American marketplace is quite a bit nervous about the possibility of a recession, which has led to price adjustments. Weather watchers take note. We're still in hurricane season, which could cause a change in fuel prices.
If Mother Nature does throw a major storm in the Gulf of Mexico that threatens refineries, we could temporarily see gas prices going up.
Dan McTeague also said more refineries have been popping up in the U.S. over the past several years. That has led to an increase in fuel output, roughly 5%. And that increase in supply has also resulted in fuel prices coming down.
Well, would you look at that? If you produce more of a good, you are able to lower the prices. On top of that, the reason I really wanted to cover this is because what I've seen is the argument changing as, so there is a baseline cost to gasoline. Yes, that number fluctuates. So when people say, oh, well, gas fluctuates all the time. True, that number is going to change based on a few factors that can't necessarily be controlled by the government. What is controlled by the government is the carbon tax, which is a non-fluctuating number unless it goes up over time when they increase the carbon tax. So every time people say, well, does Trudeau get credit for gas prices going down then? No, because that's the commodity price adjusting. He would get credit if he removed the carbon tax, which obviously Pierre is making a point of saying he is going to do. We've hopefully going to get this election called soon, which means we could have an election as soon as 90 days. But let's get into more of the actual pricing of the gas, because I found this video, which was really interesting, and it broke down the actual numbers of the taxes so we can see where these things are actually going, because it's actually pretty nuts.
Did you know that in Canada you pay up to 7 different types of taxes when you fill up your car? There is a provincial excise tax, carbon tax, transit tax, provincial sales tax, federal sales tax, federal excise tax, and my favorite, tax on tax. You won't see this breakdown on your receipt, by the way. So if you fill up your 64-liter tank, your true cost before tax is only $68, but you will also have to pay $38 in taxes. That brings your total cost to $106. Since the federal carbon tax will continue to increase every year until 2030, assuming everything else stays the same, your taxes will increase from $38 to $63.
Now, that is a massive increase, and that is just due to carbon tax, 100% unnecessary fake tax that is hurting Canadians completely. And it's so much worse than people want to explain. We keep getting the liberal math, which is, oh, it's just so much per liter. And if you do that so much per liter and you get your rebate, then you're actually making money. No, because as I've said since the beginning, some of you guys have been here since I started these videos about the carbon tax and all these other things. You know, they never break down supply chain. All they do is talk about the direct cost on a per liter basis. And then, oh, well, if you do buy the tank. No, there is a mountain of that are impacted by the carbon tax, which they don't talk about, of course, because liberals don't know math. They're like oil and water, liberals in math, you know, because for some reason they just can't figure it out. Specifically Trudeau, of course, because he's dysnumeric. I like to use the term idiot because that's kind of what he is. Let's get into this next video.
Political winds are shifting not only against the Trudeau government, but against his major climate policy raising the price on carbon. Federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is now signaling his opposition to part of the carbon pricing regime that hits consumers hardest.
We want to see an approach to fighting the climate crisis where it doesn't put the burden on the backs of working people.
It's Pierre Poilievre who's...
Just FYI, that guy voted yes to the carbon tax 24 times. And if you had asked him as recently as probably 2 months ago, he would have said the carbon tax was good. So once again, a flip-flop. Oh, it's hurting Canadians. Yeah, we know. We've been saying that for years.
Put a bullseye on the carbon tax and watched his political fortunes rise.
Will they elect a common-sense conservative government that will axe the tax?
For the Prime Minister, an opening to cast himself alone as the climate defender.
There's a lot of people really disappointed with the NDP playing simple politics, walking away from progressive values, walking away from the fight against climate change, and totally caving to the political pressure from Pierre Poilievre.
At one time, Justin Trudeau...
The political pressure from Pierre Poilievre or the political pressure from Canadians, the voters, who are the ones who are changing the polls, who are the ones who are saying, yeah, guys, we can't do the carbon tax anymore. The prices are getting crazy. Inflation is getting worse from the carbon tax, from these goods, from transports, from production, all because you guys, absolute coward. I can't even look at this motley crew of absolute jive turkeys. Just looking at these guys.
Trudeau had the political backing of many provincial governments, but governments have changed and so has the economy. As the cost of living rises, the Prime Minister is facing political and public backlash. The carbon tax is going up year by year, now at $80 a ton, and will rise to $170 a ton by 2030. While at the gas pump, it's adding about 17 cents a litre right now and will add over 37 cents a litre to the price in 6 years. Even climate stalwarts like BC's Premier David Eby now wants to scrap the tax on consumers if Ottawa will drop the requirement in law. Eby faces an election in 5 weeks and is candid that he doesn't want to lose voters on the issue.
That's really concerning for people that are already struggling around cost of food and other challenges. And to be blunt, the carbon tax was just driving them away.
I am dismayed.
Dismayed, says Connor Curtis, because the carbon tax is not driving up prices. The Bank of Canada says it's less than 0.2% of inflation.
And the problem with directing all that anger towards the carbon tax is now you're not dealing with the thing that's actually causing the inflation. The massive subsidies to oil and gas industry, the issue of inflation caused by corporate profits.
If there's one place Trudeau hopes will stick with him to fight climate change, it's Quebec, where a crucial by-election takes place on Monday in Montreal.
Well, Connor Curtis sounds like a bit of an idiot. Also, that NDP guy's got to get his suits fitted better. None of those suits fit him right. I'm not even a fashion guy. I'm just wearing t-shirts all the time. That guy did not wear his suits well. But here's why I want to show that Connor is an absolute dummy, because these are all steps in the supply chain, in production, in everything where carbon tax is applied and compounded. So because, yeah, farm equipment, okay, well, the farmer buys that and now they're paying a carbon tax on that. And then they've got to buy seed and transport and fertilizer and every single thing. So that's on the actual production side. And then it gets to the processing plants. Obviously, you can see we've got processing equipment, processing packaging, all those other things. Like, these are things I talked about forever ago, saying like, hey guys, don't you understand that it's every single step of the way? And even if it's just a couple cents on every single step of the way, and then you factor in what we're paying in the pump, which is 17.6 cents a liter, there is no way that Canadians could ever get more back from the government than they are getting charged in carbon tax. And that's also, you know, inflation was getting worse because of that, which means it's another factor why the rates had to stay so high, which means mortgages got worse. So like the affordability crisis, the carbon tax has been such a massive factor for that. And again, to say that Canadians get more back was just like the worst, like gaslighting, poorest marketing lying ever from the Liberal Party. So next time somebody tries to defend the carbon tax, show them this. Show them the 17.6 per liter. Show them this list of things where the carbon tax is applied and then that cost is passed on to you, because we know the Liberals for some reason did their math as in every single one of these people in this cost is going, oh, we'll eat the cost. We're not going to raise our prices. No, that's not how it works. They raise the prices and it's gotten worse over time. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You absolutely rock. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have a great rest of your day.